The impossible fix. Maya Chen wiped condensation from her goggles as she studied the twisted hull of the alien vessel. Nova Repair Station hung in Earth's orbit like a massive mechanical octopus, its docking arms extending outward to cradle damaged ships from across the galaxy. This particular vessel, however, was unlike anything she'd seen in her 15 years as chief engineer. "What do you think?" asked Raj Patel, her second in command, running a scanner over the ship's bizarre architecture. The vessel's hull seemed to be composed of multiple layers that shifted between solid and semi-translucent states. "I think we're about to earn our reputation," Maya replied, tucking the strand of her short black hair behind her ear. The Vectari ambassador, a tall, gaunt being with iridescent scales covering its face, clicked its mandibles nervously. "3 advanced repair facilities have declared our flagship beyond salvation. The damage to our phase shift drive is catastrophic." Maya smiled. If there was one thing humans had learned since joining the Galactic community 50 years ago, it was that impossible just meant hasn't been solved yet. "Hendricks, what's the material analysis say?" Maya called to her materials specialist. Dr. Elena Hendricks, a former quantum physicist who'd found her calling in practical applications, looked up from her scanner. "It's a crystalline metallic composite with some kind of bioneural interface woven throughout. Similar to that Corginian scout ship we repaired last month, but far more complex." The ambassador's vertical pupils dilated. "You've worked on Corginian technology. They are notoriously protective of their designs." "We get around," Maya said with a modest shrug. The truth was that Nova Station had quickly become the go-to facility when no one else could help. Human repair stations were appearing throughout known space, all operating on the same core philosophy: figure it out, make it work. Lipark, the station's systems integration expert, emerged from inside the alien vessel, his face streaked with luminescent fluid. Despite this, his expression was animated with excitement. "The quantum resonator isn't destroyed. It's just completely out of phase with their navigation system. The calibration is all wrong." The Vectari made a high-pitched trilling sound that Maya's translator rendered as extreme surprise. "Impossible. Our finest engineers attempted recalibration for 3 cycles. Your engineers probably tried to align it according to standard Vectari protocols," Elena said as she connected her tablet to the ship's control interface. "But this drive system wasn't manufactured by your people, was it?" The ambassador's scales shifted to a deeper blue. Embarrassment, Maya had learned. "No. We acquired it from Zalnar traders. They refused to share specifications." Maya nodded. "That explains it. Zalnar Tech operates on a completely different mathematical foundation. We repaired one of their mining vessels last year. Nearly cost me 2 fingers," Lai added with a laugh, holding up his scared hand. The team worked through the station's night cycle, fabricating custom adapters and recalibrating the alien systems. Maya watched with pride as her people tackled the problem from multiple angles, trying, failing, and trying again. That was the human edge. They weren't afraid to fail. Most alien civilizations had been spacefaring for thousands of years. They had established procedures, proper channels, and correct solutions. Humans were newcomers who hadn't learned what was impossible yet. By station morning, the alien drive hummed with new life. The Vectari ambassador's scales rippled with a golden glow that Maya's translator interpreted as joy. "This is unprecedented. 3 months of travel saved, at minimum. How have humans mastered repairing so many different technologies?" Maya smiled. "We're curious and stubborn, but it was more than that. Humans had spent their history adapting, improvising, and overcoming. From stone tools to spacecraft, they had always been tinkerers and fixers." As the Vectari vessel departed, Maya's communication unit chimed. "Chief," said Karim, their communications specialist, "incoming distress call from a Draken warship. Their command vessel has suffered catastrophic system failure." "The Drakens," Raj whistled low. "They never ask for outside help." "They do now," Maya said, already reviewing the preliminary scan data. Looks like we're about to get busier around here. The team moved to prepare a docking bay for the massive alien vessel, ready for whatever challenge came next. Word spread quickly about Nova Repair Station. Within months, alien ships began appearing regularly. Their captains requesting help with systems other repair facilities had declared beyond hope. Maya's team worked around the clock, expanding their knowledge of alien technologies with each new challenge. Incoming transmission from the Draken Imperium, Karim announced one morning, his voice professional, but his eyes wide. It's from High Commander Vorax himself. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a broad-shouldered being with ridged, stone-like skin and glowing amber eyes. The Drakens were known for their military might and rigid hierarchy. They rarely interacted with humans except through formal diplomatic channels. Nova Repair Station. The commander's translator conveyed in a deep, resonant tone. Our flagship, the Eternal Vigilance, has suffered critical damage to its weapons array and life support systems. We require immediate assistance. Maya stepped forward. We'd be happy to help, Commander. What happened to your ship? That information is classified. Vorax responded stiffly. You will be permitted to examine only the damaged systems. Raj rolled his eyes behind the commander's view. The Drakens were notoriously secretive about their military technology. We'll need comprehensive access to understand how everything interconnects, Maya explained patiently. But we can limit personnel to essential team members only. After tense negotiations, the massive Draken flagship arrived. It dwarfed Nova Station, its obsidian hull covered in angular patterns that served as both decoration and armor. A delegation of Draken engineers met Maya's team at the docking port, their leader, Chief Engineer Krell, making no attempt to hide his skepticism. We will observe your work at all times, he stated, his voice like grinding stones. Touch nothing without prior authorization. This should be entertaining, Lai whispered to Alina. The damage was worse than expected. The ship's primary power core had overloaded, frying countless systems. The Draken repair procedures, methodical, by-the-book protocols, had made little progress. On the third day, tensions reached a breaking point when Alina began disassembling a control panel without consulting the manual. Cease immediately, Krell demanded. That is not the approved procedure. With respect, Alina replied, not looking up from her work. Your procedure isn't fixing the problem. Sometimes you need to try something new. Unacceptable. These protocols were established by our greatest engineers centuries ago. Maya intervened before the situation escalated. Karim, could you give our guests a tour of our fabrication facilities? I think they might be interested in our adaptive manufacturing process. Karim nodded, understanding Maya's real intention. With his natural diplomatic skills, he'd keep the Drakens occupied while the team worked their magic. Your methods are chaotic, Krell complained as Karim led them away. Undisciplined. Different isn't always wrong, Karim replied with a smile. Humans have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. Over the next week, Maya's team rebuilt the Draken systems piece by piece. They improvised when parts weren't available, modified incompatible components, and occasionally ignored impossible limitations in the Draken engineering manuals. Commander Vorax arrived to inspect their progress, his entourage of advisors in tow. His expression remained unreadable as systems came online one by one. Inconceivable, Krell muttered as the main power core stabilized. We calculated 6 months for these repairs. Word of your success is spreading, Vorax informed Maya. The Solarian Alliance has inquired about your services, the Quantum Collective as well. Maya smiled. We're happy to help anyone who needs it, even potential adversaries of humanity. The commander asked pointedly. In space, everyone needs help sometimes, Maya replied. Today's customer might be tomorrow's ally when trouble strikes. The commander considered this, an interesting perspective. The Imperium will remember this service. As the Draken flagship departed, 5 new distress signals came in from across the sector. Nova Station's reputation was growing faster than they could keep up with repairs. "I think we need to hire more staff," Raj suggested. Maya nodded. "And expand our docking capacity. Things are about to get very busy around here." The Galactic Challenge. The impossible repair arrived on a Tuesday. Maya was reviewing supply inventories when alarms blared throughout the station. She rushed to the command center, where Karim was coordinating emergency protocols. "What's happening?" she asked. "Unknown vessel just appeared 500 kilometers off our port bow," he replied. It's just sitting there, broadcasting a distress signal, unlike anything in our database." The main view screen showed a massive ship unlike any Maya had ever seen. Its hull seemed to shift and move as if struggling to remain in one dimension. Sections appeared transparent, then solid, then transparent again. "That's Solmec design," whispered Elena, eyes wide with awe. "I've only seen images in historical archives." The Solmec were one of the oldest known species in the galaxy, ancient and mysterious. They rarely interacted with younger races, preferring to explore the edges of known space. Their technology was rumored to be thousands of years beyond anything else in the galaxy. The communication system crackled as a hologram appeared. A tall, willowy being with 4 arms and a head featuring a spiral pattern of luminous dots. "This is research vessel Eternal Inquiry," the being said. "We experienced catastrophic damage during dimensional transit, requesting emergency assistance." Maya exchanged glances with her team. This was well beyond anything they tackled before. "This is Nova Repair Station," she responded. "We'll do what we can to help." When that Solmec ship was towed into the largest repair bay, the true extent of the damage became clear. Entire sections were phasing in and out of reality. The engine core was bleeding exotic radiation that their sensors couldn't even identify. The Solmec chief scientist, who introduced himself as Observer Sethmal, seemed doubtful of human abilities. "Your species has only achieved interstellar travel in the last century," he noted. "Our technology may be beyond your comprehension." Elena bristled at this. "We won't know until we try, will we?" For the first few days, progress was minimal. The human team struggled to even understand the basic principles behind the alien technology. The Solmec engineers watched with growing disappointment. The breakthrough came on the 5th day when Maya was studying scans of the damaged dimensional drive. "The energy patterns," she said suddenly. "They're similar to fluid dynamics on Earth. The ship doesn't force its way through space-time. It flows with it, like water finding a path of least resistance." Lai leaned over her shoulder, studying the patterns. "You're right. And if it's like a fluid system, then the damage is like a blockage disrupting the flow, creating turbulence in the dimensional field," Maya finished. "They called in the station's AI. Can you create a simulation based on fluid dynamics principles, but applied to these space-time distortions?" The artificial intelligence processed the request. "Unconventional application, but possible. Generating model now." The holographic display showed the problem clearly. The dimensional accident had created a knot in the ship's space-time manipulation field. No wonder that Solmec couldn't fix it. They were looking at the problem from a purely mathematical perspective, not a physical one. "We need to untangle the field," Maya explained to Observer Sethmal, "not by brute force, but by redirecting the energy flow gradually." The Solmec's luminous dots pulsated in sequence, their version of surprise. "A novel approach. Our calculations suggested this was impossible. Sometimes you need to step back from the equations and just feel the problem," Raj said. Using Araya's simulations and human intuition, they designed a series of field manipulators that would gently redirect the space-time currents. The repair took 4 more days of careful adjustments, with the team working in shifts around the clock. When the final manipulator was activated, the ship's hull stabilized completely. Systems came back online one by one as the Solmec stared in disbelief. "You have accomplished what our finest minds could not," Sethmal acknowledged. Perhaps there is more to learn from young species than we believed. As the ancient vessel departed, Maya knew their reputation had changed forever. If humans could fix soul-mech technology, there was nothing in the galaxy beyond their reach. The successful repair of the soul-mech vessel sent shockwaves throughout the galactic community. News traveled faster than light through interstellar communication networks. Nova Repair Station became famous overnight, but not everyone was pleased with humanity's rising reputation. 1 month after the soul-mech departed, Maya received a formal message from the Artisan Guild of 7 Systems, the oldest and most prestigious engineering organization in the known galaxy. They issued a challenge, Maya told her team. Reading from the ornate document, a formal repair competition with representatives from 12 spacefaring civilizations. A competition. Raj scratched his chin. What exactly would we be fixing? They don't say. Only that each team will face the same damaged systems under strict time limits. Maya looked up. The winner gains exclusive repair rights in 3 disputed sectors. Elena whistled. That's serious business. Those sectors include some major trade routes. Do we accept? Lai asked. Maya nodded. I already did. The competition starts next week at Centauri Deep Space Station. We're representing all human repair facilities. The team arrived at Centauri Station to find 11 delegations from across the galaxy. Some were familiar: the methodical Drakens, the crystalline Telax, the gaseous Nebulons. Others Maya had only heard about in passing. Most intimidating was Master Engineer Vortek of the Saurian Unity. His species had been building starships when humans were still using steam engines. His 6 limbs could work on multiple systems simultaneously, and his neural implants connected directly to diagnostic equipment. The human team, Vortek remarked when they met in the preparation area, his voice cool and precise. Your unconventional methods have caused quite a stir. Some would say too much attention for such a young species. Results speak for themselves, Maya replied evenly. Vortek's scaled face rippled slightly. Perhaps, or perhaps you've simply been fortunate. True engineering excellence requires centuries of refinement, not lucky guesses. The competition began the next morning. 12 identical chambers contained the same challenge. A fusion reactor from a mining platform, deliberately sabotaged in complex ways. Teams had 6 hours to restore full functionality. Maya's team approached the problem methodically at first, running diagnostics and mapping damaged systems. But 3 hours in, they hit a major obstacle. The reactor's containment field wouldn't stabilize despite their best efforts. Something's wrong, Elena muttered. These readings don't make sense. It's like the field is being disrupted from outside. Lai checked their equipment. Wait a minute. He removed the casing from their main diagnostic tool. Inside was a tiny device emitting a faint pulse. We've been sabotaged. Maya immediately called for the competition monitors. The thorough investigation found similar devices in several teams' equipment, though some, including Vortek's, were clean. Do you accuse me? Vortek demanded when suspicions were raised. I'm pointing fingers at no one, Maya said. But someone wanted to ensure certain teams failed. The competition organizers, after confirming the sabotage, extended the time limit by 2 hours. Maya's team worked frantically to make up for lost time. With 30 minutes remaining, 11 of the 12 teams had their reactors running at partial capacity. Only the Telax had achieved full power restoration. We're missing something, Maya said, staring at their reactor. It was running at 72% efficiency. Respectable, but not winning. Raj suddenly snapped his fingers. The thermal exchanger. It's not damage. It's been modified. Look at these microfractures. They're too regular to be accidental. The team refocused their efforts. With 5 minutes to spare, they bypassed the sabotaged exchanger entirely with a makeshift solution using coolant lines and emergency power couplings. Their reactor surged to 94% efficiency, second place behind the Telax. Not bad for a young species, Vortek acknowledged grudgingly as the scores were announced. This was just round 1. Maya reminded him. The real challenge starts tomorrow. As they left the competition floor, Karim pulled Maya aside. I've been monitoring communications. Guild agents are discussing Phase 2. They're planning something big, something designed specifically to make humans fail. The investigation into the sabotage continued through the night. Security officers reviewed recordings and questioned competitors, but found no conclusive evidence about who had planted the devices. The Guild wants this kept quiet, Karim informed Maya, as they prepared for the second day. They're calling it an equipment malfunction to avoid scandal. Convenient, Elena muttered, checking their tools carefully for any new tampering. But we won't let it distract us. The second challenge began at 800 station time. This time, teams faced damaged navigation systems from an exploration vessel. These systems were notoriously complex, designed to plot courses through multi-dimensional space. Maya's team approached their workstation cautiously. Everything seemed in order, but they knew better than to take chances now. I want full diagnostics on our own equipment before we touch their systems, Maya ordered. And keep an eye on that access panel. I don't want any surprises. 2 hours into the challenge, the Draken team was making impressive progress. Their methodical approach suited the mathematical precision of navigation systems. Vortex team was close behind. Human teams had always approached repairs differently than most alien civilizations. Where aliens saw perfection as the goal, humans embraced the concept of good enough. While the Drakens carefully recalibrated each subsystem to factory specifications, Maya's team focused on getting the critical functions working first. The calibration doesn't need to be perfect, Maya explained when Raj questioned a shortcut. It just needs to get a ship home. This philosophy had roots in humanity's difficult journey to the stars. Unlike many species who had developed spaceflight gradually, humans had been forced to adapt quickly. Their first interstellar ships were cobbled together affairs, constantly breaking down and requiring improvised repairs. The memory of those early challenges had shaped human engineering culture. No human shipyard produced flawless vessels. Instead, they built ships that could be fixed by their crews when things inevitably went wrong. 4 hours into the challenge, disaster struck. The overhead lights flickered, and all teams' diagnostic systems suddenly reset. Some teams lost hours of work. Power surge, announced the competition monitor. We apologize for the inconvenience. Elena wasn't convinced. That was no accident. Look at the timing, just as we were about to complete the phase shift alignment. Maya studied the reactions of the other teams. Most were frantically trying to recover lost data, but Vortex simply continued working as if he'd expected the interruption. They're testing our ability to recover from failure, Maya realized. Well, that's one test humans will always pass. Throughout human history, failure had been their greatest teacher. The most important lessons came not from success, but from things going terribly wrong. Every disaster, from early rocket explosions to colony ship malfunctions, had taught humans new ways to survive and adapt. While the Draken team started over from the beginning, meticulously following their procedures, Maya's team took a different approach. Forget the diagnostics, she told her team. We know what's wrong. Let's focus on fixing it, even if our solution isn't in any manual. Raj grinned, just like that reactor meltdown on the Mars colony. Exactly, Maya nodded. We didn't have the right parts then either. The team worked with renewed energy, ignoring the proper repair sequence. They jury-rigged connections, bypassed damaged components, and wrote quick software patches. Their solution wasn't elegant, but it would work. With 30 minutes remaining, they had their navigation system operational at 91% efficiency. Not perfect, but more than enough to safely fly. Vortex finished shortly after, achieving 96% efficiency through textbook-perfect repairs. The Drakens, despite their precision, ran out of time with their system at only 78%. As the scores were tallied, Maya overheard 2 guild officials talking quietly. The humans recovered too quickly, One whispered. "The final challenge must be definitive." The other replied, "No amount of human improvisation can overcome what we've prepared." The morning of the final challenge arrived with tension filling the competition hall. After 2 days, 3 teams led the rankings: Vortex Saurian experts, the crystalline Tilax engineers, and Maya's human team. The others trailed significantly behind. "Teams, your attention please," announced the guild overseer, a multi-limbed being with silver skin. "Today's final challenge will test the limits of your abilities. You will each attempt to repair this." A spherical device about 1 meter across was revealed on each team's workstation. It appeared deceptively simple, a metallic shell with various access panels. "This is the Paradox engine," the overseer explained. "It was specifically designed to be unfixable. Its internal systems are in conflict with each other. Every solution creates new problems. You have 8 hours to make it functional." The teams examined their devices with varying reactions. The Drakens immediately began consulting thick technical manuals. The Nebulans extended sensory tendrils into the access ports. Vortex simply stared at his device, all 6 eyes blinking in sequence as his neural implants scanned it. Maya's team gathered around their Paradox engine cautiously. "Scan shows 5 different power systems all working against each other," Elena reported, frowning at her tablet. "And the control circuits are bizarre. They're programmed to reverse any input." Lai ran his hand over the outer casing. "Materials analysis shows at least 12 different alloys, some of which shouldn't be able to exist together without reacting." "They weren't kidding about unfixable," Raj muttered. 4 hours passed with minimal progress. The Tilax team had managed to stabilize one subsystem, but 3 others had failed in response. Vortex was methodically testing each component, building a complex virtual model of the device. The Drakens had already gone through 3 complete diagnostic protocols without finding a viable repair path. Maya's team had disassembled portions of their engine, spreading components across their workstation in what appeared to be chaos. But Maya saw a pattern forming. "It's not designed to be repaired, it's designed to be transformed," she said suddenly. "We're not supposed to fix it as it is. We need to change what it is." The team looked at her in confusion, then understanding dawned on their faces. "Like the colony ships during the Mars dust storms," Raj said. "When we couldn't fix the air filters, we redesigned them to use the dust as filtering material," Maya finished. "Exactly." With renewed purpose, the team began reconnecting components and configurations that violated every repair manual ever written. Instead of fighting the device's contradictory systems, they embraced the chaos, creating a new order from it. As the final hour approached, Maya's team was the only one still working. The others had either given up or reached limitations they couldn't overcome. Even Vortex stood watching the humans with reluctant fascination. With 5 minutes remaining, Maya connected the final circuit. The Paradox engine hummed to life, glowing with a soft blue light. It wasn't operating as originally designed. It was something new altogether. "Impossible," the guild overseer whispered, approaching their workstation. "No," Maya corrected gently. "Just human." The competition concluded with humanity's unexpected victory. The guild officials were forced to acknowledge what the galaxy was beginning to understand, that sometimes the newest species brings the freshest perspective. As Maya's team prepared to return to Nova Station, Vortex approached them. "I still maintain that your methods lack refinement," the Saurian engineer said, "but I cannot argue with your results. Perhaps there is something to be said for your unconventional approach." Maya smiled. "That's the highest compliment you could give us." Aboard their shuttle, Karim received an incoming transmission. "You're not going to believe this," he said. "We got requests from 17 new species, including the Saurians, asking about training exchanges with human repair facilities." Maya looked out at the stars, thinking about humanity's journey. They had entered the galactic community as newcomers, lacking the history and traditions of the ancient races. But they had brought with them the one thing those races had sometimes forgotten over millennia of prosperity: the ability to look at problems with fresh eyes, unbound by convention. "Send them all the same reply," she told Karim. "We're happy to help." In the vast expanse of space, humanity had found its place, not as conquerors or even as innovators, but as the galaxy's problem solvers, the species that could look at the impossible and see possibility.